Maybe alongside Jimmy Garrett, I'm Eric Chumler. Thanks for joining us tonight. And Jimmy, it's another week of difficult basketball for the Mustangs. They had another tough opponent on Tuesday night after a really tough opponent Saturday. You have a tough opponent tonight. You have a really tough opponent in Memphis East on Saturday. This is an absolutely brutal week schedule-wise for the Mustangs.
Yeah, we talked to Coach Dustin Roberts last night at the coaches show, and he set his schedule up. I mean, he knew that he was going to have these really tough games here early in December and throughout the month of December. And granted, it gets your team ready for district play and regional play when you get into January and February. So, I mean, it's a good opportunity for the Mustangs. I think, Eric, if we look back so far at the first two of these really four tough games that the Mustangs have, they did a good job Saturday. I mean, granted, they were really up against a tough team in New Madrid, defending Missouri State champions. They had a lot of athletes on the court, but there were some positive moments for the Mustangs in that game over at Marshall County last Saturday. And then when we look at that game we had on Tuesday evening, Eric, over at Hopkinsville, I mean, we really got to feel good about the Mustangs. I mean, granted there, it was sort of like they had a tough time over at New Madrid. It kind of came over in that game the first two quarters the other night at Hopkinsville, and then as you and I both know from talking to Coach Roberts, he fired these young men up at halftime, and they really came out and responded in that second half against Hopkinsville. They came out and scored a lot of points, outscored them 14 points in that second half to overcome that 9-point deficit, and really, really played good basketball there in the second half, really on all aspects of the game. So very pleased with the Mustangs for what we saw. And like you said, Eric, now tonight we're going to see another really athletic team. One of the first basketball games I ever called with you was last year over at University Heights. And we know they've got a lot of athletes. They've got some different players on this team, but they've got a lot of athletes. And like you said, they beat Murray. And, I know you and I talked off air, preseason that Murray's kind of favored out here in Western Kentucky. And so they beat Murray by about 17 points. I think it was 64-47. So, they beat Murray pretty sound. So tonight, Eric's the third challenge, and then of course Saturday you got Memphis East, so you got another tough ball game there. So overall, when you look at it, Eric, I think this is great experience for the Mustangs. But every night since Saturday, now Tuesday, now again on Thursday, they've just got to get up some really, really big basketball games and some guys that athletically match up pretty good with them. I think there are some advantages that we'll talk about here in the pregame show that favor the Mustangs in this particular matchup.
And so McCracken County getting set for UHA here tonight in what is the middle of the week type game for the Mustangs. Not often do they play on Thursday nights, but they are tonight. Have a rare Friday night off tomorrow night before playing Saturday afternoon against Memphis East at Callaway County High School in that Kentucky-Tennessee Challenge. And so the Mustangs will get that challenge on Saturday before turning to the first region next week and getting Mayfield and Marshall County in two first region games that really two teams that are going to be in that first region fight come season's end. So a nice early schedule coming up for the McCracken County Mustangs. It's the Buffalo Wild Wings pregame show. Make your pregame or postgame at Buffalo Wild Wings in Paducah. Appetizers, entrees, desserts, everything in between. They've got it for you at Buffalo Wild Wings in Paducah. Up here in the Baird broadcast booth at Strawberry Hills Pharmacy Arena, we are counting you down to tip-off, about 26 minutes away from the Mustangs and the Blazers. When we come back, we'll take a look at the win on Tuesday night for the Mustangs when we return. 99.5 The Fan.
Financial health can be life-changing. At CFSB, we're passionate about your financial health. With Money 360, you'll have the tools and services to assist you at every step of your financial journey. With community education, financial coaching, a youth program based on healthy money habits, and so much more, we hope to make an impact on our communities. Find out more today at yourlifeyourbank.com or stop by any of our 8 convenient locations to learn more about the financial health tools available in our digital banking platform and in our communities. CFSB, member FDIC.
Whether you win or lose the game, the best place to go is McDonald's. Have you tried the new Quarter Pounder with cheese, jalapeno, and bacon? What a way to wake up your taste buds. And to cool down, add a peanut butter crunch McFlurry to your order. But remember, these special items are only here for a limited time. Juggling school, work, ball practice, and more means no time to cook. Order on the McDonald's app and pick up your order curbside, or place your McDonald's order on DoorDash and have it delivered to your front door. McDonald's is here to make your life a little easier.
Flooring is incredibly important when it comes to sports. It's all Important when it comes to your home or business. You gotta see Flooring America for a full line of residential and commercial carpet, vinyl, laminate, area rugs, and custom tile. Their professional installers are fully insured. They have the area's largest selection of quality floor coverings for integrity, quality, and professional service. See Greg Dilworth at Flooring America, 5150 Heartland Drive, flooringamericapaducah.com.
It's a real good, feel-good comedy show with the Karens. Karen Mills.
And whenever I'm talking to my mom on my cell phone, if I drop the call and I call her back, she's in a panic. She's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, I just lost my signal." And she's like, "Oh, Lord, that scared me to death. I was afraid somebody had knocked you in the head." She's always worried about that. Don't stop at a rest area at night, somebody will knock you in the head. You better lock your doors tight. Somebody break in on you and knock you in the head. I'm surprised we don't hear more about that on the news. Last night, 15 people got knocked in the head. One was just talking on her cell phone.
The Karens, Saturday, March 30th at the Kentucky Opry. For tickets, call 270-527-3869 or go to KentuckyOpry.com. Tickets on sale now.
I loved playing high school sports. I loved the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, all the pageantry, and I wanted to keep playing. But I graduated. No colleges called, and neither did the pros. So, to stay close to the game I loved, I decided to become a high school official. You know, a referee. When I played high school sports, I learned the importance of integrity, good sportsmanship, and respect for the rules. Now, as a high school official, I get to help model these same values to others. Maybe the colleges and the pros didn't call, but the kids in Kentucky did. And now, I'm enjoying the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, and all the pageantry of high school sports all over again.
Interested in becoming a licensed high school official? Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn more and begin the application process.
I had top Strawberry Hills Pharmacy Arena in the Bears broadcast booth, getting you set for the boys varsity contest tonight between the 3-0 University Heights Blazers and the 2-1 McCracken County Mustangs. As we are counting you down to we're counting you down to tip-off, We're about 22 minutes from the Mustangs and the Blazers right here on 99.5 The Fan. Welcome back to the Buffalo Wild Wings pregame show. Make your pregame or postgame at Buffalo Wild Wings in Paducah. Appetizers, entrees, desserts, everything in between. They've got it for you at Buffalo Wild Wings in Paducah. Alongside Jimmy Garrett, I'm Eric Chumbler. Jimmy, a challenging game for the Mustangs at Hopkinsville. Always is in that second region. And Hopkinsville, Christian County, and UHA, the class of that second region for the last 20 years, having won 18 of the last 20 Region 2 championships in basketball. And we saw Hoptown has that capability. The resume for UHA is impressive so far, and another tough test tonight.
Yeah, Eric, I reflect back on last year when you and I went over there and called the game at University Heights. And one of the things that I remember about them that I expect to see here tonight is, like I was mentioning earlier, they've got a lot of athletes. They're going to want to run up and down the floor. If I recall correctly, calling that game with you last year, these guys hustled up and down the court. They really wanted to get a lot of fast break points. So it'll be interesting to see if they want to play that same fast-paced basketball here in Strawberry Arena tonight. But that's what I expect. I mean, when you look at it overall, and we're going to talk about that in the keys to success, is they don't have a lot of height on the court. I mean, basically at times they're going to have a lineup, and they're only really going to have one guy over 6 foot tall. So they're making that up with speed and quickness, and that's what I expect to see out of them tonight. I think one of the things is the Mustangs should be accustomed to that. We saw some pretty quick, athletic guys on Saturday from New Madrid. At Hoptown there on Tuesday night, we saw the same thing. So I think one of the things is, Eric, for this Mustang team overall, they've got to be getting accustomed to, playing against a lot of athletes and a lot of speed on the other side of the court. And like I said tonight, I want to talk a little bit about in the keys to success is tonight, for the first time, since those other two games we mentioned with New Madrid and Hoptown, the Mustangs have the height advantage here tonight, and we've not had that in the two previous games, and I want to talk a little bit about that further. But I certainly think, Eric, similar to what we saw at Hoptown, this is going to be a high-paced game.
Indeed, and so that is what we are looking forward to here this evening. Let's talk about the game on Tuesday night a little bit more. The Mustangs, bit of a struggle out of the gate, down by 9 at the half, but that did not last in the second half. Quite the incredible second half from the Mustangs.
Yeah, Eric, I want to say it this way. I think Coach Roberts lit a fire into these young men at halftime because, that first half they struggled a little bit with the press, which was an issue over at New Madrid. The Mustangs weren't shooting well at all, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. And overall, they just didn't play a good half. Like I said, it was a little bit of a continuation from what we saw against New Madrid. But after halftime, and I mean immediately after halftime, if you recall, Eric, Connor Miller came out right after the buzzer started there in the third quarter, put up a quick basket that he drove inside. And that really, to me, was one of the differences in that second half. Connor Miller, we'll just talk about for a minute. He came out of that first half with the Mustangs. He hadn't scored a single point. He was cold in that first half. Coach got on him to drive the ball to the rim. He came out after that second half, or that third quarter after halftime, drove it straight to the rim, got the first basket for the Mustangs to cut that lead from 9 down to 7, and that just seemed to spur the whole team on. And just to talk a little bit statistically, so you look at it, at the end of the game, Connor Miller had a total of 19 points. All 19 of those came in the second half because he didn't do any scoring in the first half. The other guy that stepped up that scoring in the second half was Dylan Jackson. He as well started taking the ball to the rim. He made a lot of nice drives. He too scored a lot of points in that second half. He ended up with 15 points. So those two guys in particular, Connor Miller and Dylan Jackson, really stepped their game up in the second half. And then we got to talk about Jackson Cloak. Jackson did a great job. I think one of the things is, Eric, that he did well in the first half, and he did it again in the second half. He really dominated the boards, and they had a guy, Williams, on the court who was 6'6", an inch taller than Jackson. But Jackson did a really good job both offensively and defensively, getting a lot of rebounds for the Mustangs. So he had a good game overall. And just to note that and to jump down on that just for a moment, overall Jackson Cloak had 17 rebounds in that game against Hoptown, and that's a big number, getting up there close to 20 rebounds. So Jackson did a great job controlling the inside for the Mustangs. Connor Miller and Dylan Jackson did a great job scoring. And I think, Eric, you can just say most of that effort was concentrated in the second half. I think another thing that I was proud of the Mustangs in that game, if you recall, there was a moment there in the second half where Hoptown actually came back and tied that game after the Mustangs got out to about a 6-point lead. And the Mustangs didn't let that get to them, and they just continued to press on and ended up with that 6-point win at the end. So overall, Eric, I think it was a good test. It was a half where they were down 9. They made a great comeback. They got a lead. They let off the throttle a little bit, led Hoptown back in the game. And they jumped back on the throttle in that fourth quarter and were just able to put Hoptown away. So looking at it overall, Eric, about these 4 opponents that we've got in a row, starting with New Madrid, overall, I've got to say that was a really good victory against Hoptown.
Indeed, and the Mustangs were able to show some heart, show some grit, and that's only going to get better as the year goes on as well.
Yeah, and I think, we talked to Coach Roberts after the game, and that's really what he called on the boys to do. I think he felt that they had played a little bit soft in that first half against Hoptown, and he really called them out on that. And I've got to say, Eric, you could see a distinct difference in that team when they walked on the court after halftime of just how they were going to play. They really, at times it got a little bit rough in the paint. There were times that I think the referees really let the guys play, and it was to the advantage of the Mustangs. I mean, Connor was he was really driving the ball hard to the rim. So was Dylan, and they were really letting the boys play some, and I think that made a difference in the game. But I've got to give Coach Roberts credit from what we talked to him about after the game is he called these young men out and said, hey, you guys have got to play like men if you're going to win these type of games. And these young guys stepped up in that second half.
And so the Mustangs getting set for another challenge tonight with the Blazers of University Heights Academy. When we come back, we'll start to look at the matchup and the Brandon Clifton All-State Insurance for Success when we return. 99.5 The Fan.
Flooring is incredibly important when it comes to sports. It's also incredibly important when it comes to your home or business. You gotta see Flooring America for a full line of residential and commercial carpet, vinyl, laminate, area rugs, and custom tile. Their professional installers are fully insured. They have the area's largest selection of quality floor coverings for integrity, quality, and professional service. See Greg Dilworth at Flooring America, 5150 Heartland Drive, flooringamericapaducah.com.
When it comes to opening a new bank account, I have very high opening requirements. Amazingly, F&B Bank's Your Start Bundle Checking Plus Savings pulls out all the stops. A 2.25% APY on your first $15,000, free nationwide ATMs, a great mobile app, and more. Hey, when you meet a bank that complies with your terms, it's not about small print. It's your big goals and dreams. Get your start at F&B. APY is annual percentage yield. Standard rate of 0.20% APY will apply to balances over $15,000. See bank for terms and conditions. F&B Bank, member FDIC.
Burrito After Dark is Paducah's new favorite Tex-Mex spot. Delicious burritos, trashy nachos, maxed out nachos, shrimp tacos with fresh cooked shrimp, and it's all customizable. Wrap up all that great food with some live entertainment, and you've got the perfect girls' night or date night. Burrito After Dark isn't just for adults. Families are always welcome. They're the home of daily fresh-made salsa and guac. And if that wasn't enough, book your next event at their 80-capacity space. Burrito After Dark in the Old Fat Moe's, downtown Paducah.
Craig Culver on Culver's Salted Caramel Concrete Mixers.
Summer just isn't complete without this treat. We take our frozen custard and add salted caramel. Then pick your favorite mix in. Cookie dough, brownie pieces, or how about Reese's Peanut Butter Cup? We spin it by hand. I love seeing that caramel swirl through the custard. There it is. Come on in for the Culver's Salted Caramel Concrete Mixer. Welcome to Delicious.
Stop in at Culver's on Highway 60 in Paducah.
Has your team star gone cold from outside? Is the opposing team hot from everywhere? Then visit MrCool.com today. You'll find heating and cooling solutions your home needs, like with our flagship DIY mini split heat pumps. Perfect for your garage, office, or with our 5-zone system, your whole home. It's really up to you. You're the play caller at your house, right? Right? Visit MrCool.com today for your HVAC needs and beat discomfort with the full core press from an innovative Mr. Cool HVAC system.
Rudy's Farm Center is your locally owned farm, industrial, and hardware store in Keppel. Now, the Rudy family is proud to be a part of Mustang Nation. Why don't you come out and enjoy a bag of famous popcorn? It's just 10 minutes from the school campus out on Highway 60. While you're there, take a good look at the selection of Traeger wood pellet grills, a great addition for your tailgate party. At Rudy's Farm Center, down Highway 60 in Keppel.
Atop Strawberry Hills Pharmacy Arena in the Baird Broadcast booth, getting you set for McCracken County and University Heights Academy as we are counting you down to tip-off about, let's say, 13 minutes away from the Mustangs and the Blazers right here on 99.5 The Fan. As you can imagine, it is a little bit of a lighter crowd with a second region opponent on a 6 o'clock on a Thursday night. Not the most popular combination in terms of bringing out crowds, but still it's going to be a wonderful matchup between the Blazers and the Mustangs. So if you have time, you still have time to get out here. If you do not, you can obviously listen to us on 99.5 The Fan or watch us on YouTube tonight by tuning in to the McCracken Media YouTube channel, which I have posted on both Facebook and Twitter on the McCracken County Mustangs, Lady Mustangs Sports Update Facebook page and my own Twitter page as well. And so that is how you can catch the action here tonight. Jimmy Garrett, an impressive resume for the Blazers here this evening, and overall the Mustangs will have their hands full in trying to contain it.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about University Heights. They come into this game, like we mentioned, 3-0. The last game they beat Murray by about 17, so they were off to a good start so far this season. When you look at the 3 victories that they have, Eric, all of them have been more than double-digit victories. So overall, they've really handled their opponents fairly easily in these first 3 games of the season. When you take a look at it overall, one of the things that jumped out at me, Eric, they're averaging almost 75 points a game. So They're putting up a lot of offense, like I mentioned earlier. I think it's because they're going to play a fast-paced game. When you look at it from a team standpoint, from a shooting standpoint, they're about 54% from the field, so they're about average. From the three-point arc out there, they're about 31%, so a little below that 33% that I normally like to see from a team. And then the other thing, from the free throw line, they're about 67%. So when you look at them overall from a shooting standpoint, they're about average, and nothing jumps off the sheet at you there when you look at them statistically. So let's look at them a little bit individually. So the first guy we want to talk a little bit is Quentin Quarles. He's going to be their leading player tonight. He right now is averaging 17.3 points a game, so he's a leading scorer. He's number 2 leading from shooting outside the arc. He's averaging almost 40% from outside the arc, so he's going to be the major threat tonight. But one of the things for the fans to know at home, he's 5'8", so it goes back a little bit, Eric, to what I've been talking about. They're going to use their quickness versus their size tonight. Their number 2 scorer is Elijah Walton. He so far this year is averaging 13.3 points per game. He is another good scorer for him. When you look at him overall, he's really going to be probably the tallest guy, other than sometimes during the game when they put in one guy they do have at 6'6", but most of the time he's going to be the tallest guy on the court at 6'2". Their number 3 leading scorer on the team right now is Gavin Grubbs. He's scoring 12 points a game. And then the other leading scorer they have is Tylen George. He's averaging 10 points a game. So, Eric, one of the things that we were talking about while we were off the air, just to mention to the fans at home, is right now, overall, they've got 4 of their 5 starters averaging double digits. So they're sharing that scoring pretty much across that opening 5 teams. And, you know, one of the things that creates, when you've got at least 4 of your 5 guys in double digits, the Mustangs are going to have to play good defense. It's not like you can focus down on 1 or 2 players a little bit like we could do against New Madrid. They're really got everybody on the court is able to score for them. When you look at it from a three-point standpoint, like I mentioned, they really got 2 guys shooting outside the arc. They've got Tylen George. He's averaging right at 40% is where he's at shooting-wise, and Quentin Quarles is right up there with him at 39%. So those will be 2 guys we'll have to watch tonight outside the arc for shooting three-pointers. And then looking at them from a rebounding standpoint, like I said, they don't have a lot of height on the court, but overall their leading rebounder is Elijah Walton, who I just mentioned is 6'2", but he's the leading rebounder they have. They do have one guy in Kyler Baker who's got 14 rebounds so far this year. He's averaging about a little under 5 rebounds a game. He's the only guy they really have with any height. He's at 6'6". So overall, Eric, I think one of the things that we can expect tonight, we talked about the fast pace, but I think you can see there's a balanced scoring across at least 4 of the 5 starters. And so for the Mustangs, like I mentioned just a moment ago, this is going to be a game that's really going to test Coach Roberts from a standpoint of how he sets his defense up.
That's right. That will be what the Mustangs will be focusing on here this evening. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Insurance for Success, brought to you by Brandon Clifton and Allstate Insurance. And for the Mustangs tonight, dominating in the paint. Talk about that.
Yeah, Eric, you know, I think this is the first game we've had so far this season that we've got a height advantage. I mean, in these other games, you know, New Madrid brought 3 guys that were 6'4", 6'5", and 6'6". We saw Williams here just the other night at Hoptown. He was 6'6" as well. And so overall, in these 2 big games now, the 3rd game in a row, the Mustangs were really at a deficit from a height standpoint. I think tonight, for the first time, they have an advantage, particularly when the tallest guy on the court is only 6'2". So, to me, this is a game where Jackson Clope, and we saw him dominate. I mean, he did a great job against Hoptown. But I think this is an opportunity for Jackson Clope to really dominate the boards. He's definitely going to be the tallest guy on the court most of the night. The other thing is, we know Connor Miller, though, he's only around 6', 6'1". He's got a great vertical jump to him. He's another guy that contributed a lot to the rebounding. And then the other guy who played good in the 4th quarter for the Mustangs, Grayson Parrish, who's really the workman on this team. He's the quieter of those 5 starters, but he can as well be at 6'4", so he's going to be the 2nd tallest guy on the court. So overall, when you look at it in the paint, I think, Eric, the Mustangs should dominate on the defensive boards for certain. And I also think with Grayson and Connor and Jackson Clope inside, the Mustangs ought to get a lot of second chance opportunities on the offensive end of the court.
And so that is the first thing tonight. The second tonight for the Mustangs is limiting the fouls.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that. And that's one stat that jumped out at me reviewing and preparing for the game, is at the free throw line. I think there's a situation we need to talk a little bit about tonight. the Mustangs, as we know, and we talked to Coach Roberts yesterday or last night on a coach's show, the Mustangs are struggling from the free throw line. They're shooting barely 59%. They were barely, the first half against Hoptown, they were right at 50%, ended up getting it a little bit higher that by the end of the game. But, you know, the Mustangs are really only making every other foul or free throw, and so that's a little bit of struggle. On the other end of the court for University Heights, this is a strength for them, particularly across their starting 4 guys. When you look at the 4 starters out of 5, overall, when you look at it from a free throw standpoint, Eric, 3 of them are averaging 75%, the other one's at 71. So these guys are making 3 out of 4 free throws, every one of them other than one starter that they've got on the court. So if it gets to be a close game and it gets to come down to free throw shooting, right now it's an advantage to the University Heights. So I think one of the things the Mustangs can do to control that is make sure they control the number of fouls they have and try to keep University Heights off the free throw line, because I think overall, Eric, it's going to give them some easy opportunities to score points.
Also tonight for the Mustangs is being the better team from the arc.
Yeah, so let's talk about that a few moments. You know, that was another thing that has been a little bit of a struggle for the Mustangs overall this season. It was a real struggle over there at Hoptown. If I recall correctly, the first three-pointer we made was in the second half. We didn't have any in the first half. And I think total for the game, I think we made 3 overall three-pointers. And so, you know, even in high school basketball, that's a low number overall. The Mustangs are going to have to improve from that outside shooting, particularly outside the arc. You know, I think every game except for the CCA game, we've really been outmanned out on the arc as far as from a shooting standpoint, and that's got to change. I mean, as we continue to take on opponents like we are tonight with University Heights, somewhere you've got to take advantage of that three-point shooting, and I think tonight's a good opportunity for it. You know, the other night, you know, for a little while, Carter Hall's come in there. We know he's got a good shot. He missed 4 shots in that game. 2 from the three-point arc, 2 from the free throw line. And so overall, Eric, I think this is an opportunity for the Mustangs to settle in some tonight. They'll have the height advantage out there at the guard play as well, particularly with Connor Miller. And I think it gives us an opportunity to win that three-point shooting part of the game that I think is a must as the season grows and you get in tougher and tougher competitions and closer games.
That is your Brandon Clifton Allstate Insurance for Success as the Mustangs getting set for University Heights Academy and looking for their second Region 2 win of the week. Again, they were able to play at Hopkinsville on Tuesday night, a game that was not easy for the Mustangs and against the high-quality Hoptown opponent. Mustangs trailed 13-9 after 1. Even bigger deficit after 2, 25-16. The Mustangs trailed at the half. And then in the third quarter, the Mustangs turned it around. They were able to score 23 in the third, outscoring Hoptown 23-9, and then coasted to the win and won at 57-51 over Hopkinsville on Tuesday night. Now they get University Heights tonight. And a game in which University Heights, they are poised to make a run in the second region. The biggest thing for them is getting out of their district when you have Hopkinsville, University Heights, and Christian County. That's not easy to do when you have those 3 programs who've won 18 of the last 20 Region 2 titles.
Yeah, Eric, you know, if you went out there to watch a little bit of basketball, I mean, when you talk about those 3 teams combined, it'd be interesting to see them play one another because, as we know, from Hopkinsville, you know, they had a lot of quick pace, and they've got a big man. Here, overall, University Heights doesn't have the big player like Williams over at Hoptown, but they're going to bring the fast-paced game to this as well. So I think it'd be really interesting to see those teams play each other as the season unfolds. I would have to say this much from calling the game. I think it'd be a little bit of a challenge because it'd be an up-and-down, fast-paced ball game between those 3 high schools.
Let us know you're listening on the Sailor Connection text hotline, 270-557-8223, 270-557-8223, and we will shout you out courtesy of the Sailor Connection, your locally owned Verizon Wireless retailer on Lone Oak Road in Paducah. We'll get some of your shout-outs in before this one tips off here in about 2 minutes or so on 99.5 The Fan. The Mustangs will head to Callaway County on Saturday afternoon, and they will have Memphis East. And so that will be their opponent Saturday afternoon. And then the Lady Mustangs at home Saturday night. We will have that coverage for you as well. That will be around 6:30 or so on 99.5 The Fan. So join us on Saturday for a full afternoon and evening of Mustangs and Lady Mustangs basketball, as we will head into the weekend, and then next week will be Mayfield on Tuesday night here at home, and then Friday night at Marshall County, which will be a fun doubleheader as well. As we are set for the national anthem, it's brought to you by Rudy's Farm Center in Cabell. We'll let you listen to our national anthem. Your national anthem brought to you by Rudy's Farm Center, your locally owned farm, industrial, and hardware store in Cabell. We'll let you listen to the starting lineups for tonight. With that, the public address, the voice of Strawberry Hills Pharmacy Arena, Mr. Darrell Good.
And your McCracken County Mustang. Let's meet the starting lineups first for University Heights. A 5'10" sophomore, number 3, Tyler George. A 6'2" junior, number 24, Elijah Walton. A 6' senior, number 21, Matthew Perret. A 6'6" senior, number 23, Kyler Baker. And a 5'8" senior, number 0, Quentin Quarles. The head coach is Terry Hayes. And now, the starting lineups for your McCracken County Mustangs. A 5'8" freshman, number 4, Jay Martin. A 6'5" sophomore, number 20, Jackson Lowe. A 6'1" junior, Jackson. A 6'4" senior, number 32, Grayson Parrish. And a 5'11" senior, number 3, Connor Miller. The head coach.
And so your starting lineups for tonight for McCracken County and UHA. The Mustangs, the home team tonight. They're wearing their home white, with Mustangs across the chest in black numerals outlined in crimson. UHA wearing their road green uniforms with the gold blazers across the front, gold numerals, and we are set for tip. It is going to be for UHA number 23, Kyler Baker, 6'7", just a tad taller than the Mustangs, Jackson Clope. And we are set for tip. It's going to be controlled by the UHA Blazers. We are underway as it goes on the far right side. A 3 coming on the way is by Harrod, no good. Rebound comes down to McCracken County. The Mustangs will bring it the other way as Jay Martin crosses it over a couple of times, goes now to Parrish. Parrish looking for the post, enters it into Clope. He turns, gives it out to Miller. Wasn't quite ready for it. Miller tripped and it's still loose. Miller fighting for it, keeps it on for the Mustangs. Gets it to Jackson, into Parrish. Parrish penetrates in, partially blocked, recovered by UHA. They want to run. Quarles up to the floor, had it stripped by Jackson. It goes out of bounds. It will be UHA to take possession.
Oh, Eric, that was a nice defensive play by Dylan Jackson. He hustled back to stop that layup and really almost had a turnover there without creating a foul.
As it comes left side, a three on the way from Tylen George, no good. Rebounds tipped around, out of bounds off the Mustangs. UHA another opportunity.
That's, Eric, that's one of the things that I really hope to see the Mustangs hold University Heights down, is not give them any second chance points tonight.
UHA will inbound as it comes to George, now into the paint. As a jump shot by Horrit, no good, excuse me. It comes down to Cloak. Mustangs and Blazers, no score, just underway. Jay Martin on the wing to Miller. Miller pump fakes, penetrates in, and stripped but fouled. And that looks like it's going to be on Elijah Walton, the 6'2 junior forward.
Yeah, Eric, right there, Connor started off just like he ended that game against Hoptown, getting the ball out around the arc and just driving it straight to the rim and just using his muscle to try to get up.
Jay Martin will inbound it as he goes to Connor Miller. Miller dribbling in front of the UHA bench, now towards the top of the key, towards the opposite wing, behind the back dribble, spin move, gives it out right side to Jackson. Jackson going to take a contested three, no good. Rebound comes down to UHA. Blazers on the return as it's Quentin Quarles for the Blazers. On the right wing, gets a high screen, now takes it between the circles, now out towards the center circle. Quarles on the wing as he goes to Tylen George. George, nice entry pass on the block to Horrit. He turns and he stepped on the end line. That's a turnover to the Mustangs.
Yeah, Eric, Jackson Cloak did a good job there. He really forced him down there. He wanted to bring that up and get a close shot, and Jackson just did a good job pushing him into the baseline.
So the Mustangs and Blazers still scoreless, 90 seconds into this one. Cloak hands it off to Jackson, swings it to Martin as Jay Martin goes now to Cloak, hands it off left side. Miller, baseline drive to the rim, put it up, no good. A lot of contact, but they're going to get Cloak for the over the back, and that's his first.
Yeah, Eric, that was kind of a tough foul there for Jackson Cloak. He really didn't have a good opportunity to get that rebound. It ended up going over the back of the University Heights player there.
So Quentin Quarles brings it into the front court for UHA as he aims towards the right-hand side of the floor. Swings it to Horrit. And now to Walton. Swung towards the left side. Now back towards the right side to Walton. Puts the dribble down into the lane. Floater up, no good. Rebound comes down to Jackson. Jackson clears it to Martin. As Martin a few dribbles. Works top of the key to Cloak. Swung right side to Miller. Looking for the post, enters it into Parrish. Parrish, a dribble, but as his hook is blocked, Miller gets the board, he's fouled.
Yeah, Eric, Connor Miller, he's hustling here tonight. He came from clear out there at the arc to get underneath the basket and get that missed shot by Grayson Parrish. So, you know, to me, that's the area we've got to dominate, and that was a good opportunity there for Connor Miller to put that back up for an easy basket. He just got fouled.
So Connor Miller will shoot two for the Mustangs. The first one for Miller is good. That makes it 1-0 McCracken County. One more coming for Connor Miller. Second free throw is no good. Rebound fought for by Parrish. He saves it in the paint to Miller. No good on the block. It comes out to Quentin Quarles. 1-0 Mustangs. Quarles on the right-hand side. Finds Horrit. May have traveled with it. He gives it off to George. George now hands it off down into the paint. That's to Baker. Back out it comes to Quarles. 5-12 first quarter. 1-0 our score. Mustangs on top. Quarles crossover. Gives it off right side. A long three coming from George is good. Tylen George gets the Blazers on the board at a downtown three. 3-1. Miller in the paint to Cloak. To the rim, no good, but he's fouled. A little bit of a finesse move there by Cloak. Didn't exactly go up strong, but came up with the foul.
He did, and really that was a nice play. I mean, I'm assuming that's a play that Coach Roberts called there. I mean, Jackson did a good job cutting to the basket. Connor found him wide open. He just got fouled there. It would have been an easy basket as well.
As the first free throw is good. What I mean by the finesse is he brought the basketball back a little bit into the hand of the perimeter, allowing you to get blocked a little bit easier than straight up, but it did draw the foul.
It did.
And so the second free throw from Clope is no good. Rebound comes down to UHA. 3-2 our score. Mustangs trail by 1. Quentin Quarles with it. Swung into the corner. A three coming from Tylen George. No good. Rebound comes long. Tipped around a couple of times. It's saved in. UHA another chance. Straight away it comes to Matthew Horrett. All the way to the rim. Puts it up no good. Rebound comes down to Parrish. Parrish hands it off to Jay Martin. Martin turns top of the key. Gives it off for Miller. As Miller behind the back stops. 17-footer. Got it.
Eric, that's what I like about Connor Miller. He just has that vertical leap. That was just a great jump shot there from about 15 feet out.
4-3, Mustangs by 1. 4 minutes in the first. Channa defense from the Mustang students. It comes to Quarles, swung over left side to George. Gives it off now in the paint to Baker. Stripped for a moment, comes out left side. It's nice hustle by Jackson, but it's out of bounds off the Mustangs.
Yeah, Eric, that's the second time so far in this first quarter that Dylan Jackson's come really close to making a turnover there. He blocked that layup earlier, almost had a defensive play there to get a second turnover for the Mustangs.
And so it comes in to Quarles. Now swung left side to Gavin Grubbs. Gets a high screen. Grubbs takes it towards the opposite block. Swings it right side three. Got it.
Eric, that looks like a little bit what University Heights is going to do a little bit tonight. It's interesting how they've played so far, driving the ball in and then passing it out for a three-point shot at the arc.
So the Mustangs trail 6-4 as it comes to George. He receives a screen. Now straight away to Clope. Clope, right-hand side now as they give it off to Fulcher. To Miller. He'll take a spot up three short. Rebound fought for. Parrish able to get it. And Grayson keeps it alive to Caden Fulcher as Fulcher back to Miller. Miller's going to be fouled as that was a little bit of a reach by Grubbs. And the Mustangs will have it sideline out of bounds.
Yeah, Eric, that was a nice rebound by Grayson Parrish to give the Mustangs second chance opportunity here on this sequence down the court.
One thing to remember, if UHA commits one more foul before this quarter's over, the Mustangs will shoot 2 free throws for the double bonus. It's now 5 team fouls in a quarter. Produce the double bonus. And so something to note. It will be Fulcher to inbound it, and he gets it into the backcourt to Jackson. Back to Fulcher. As Fulcher uses the left-hand dribble right in front of half court. Now right-hand dribble. Picks it up, hands it off to Jackson. 3 minutes first quarter. Mustangs trail 6-4. Fulcher, spin move into the lane. Goes now towards the left-hand side as he's looking for Halls. Now to Jackson to Parrish. Spin move into the lane. No good. Rebound comes back to UHA. 6-4. UHA by 2 with the basketball. 2:40 in this first quarter. Grubbs, a long three. No good. Way off. Rebound comes down to Jackson. Gives it off to Miller. As Miller, he's met and fouled, and that's going to send Miller to the foul line to shoot 2.
Yeah, Eric, one of the things that's interesting, University Heights being pretty aggressive down there on the defensive end, trying to steal the ball and inadvertently getting fouled. So right now it's an advantage to the Mustangs on that.
That is a difference in Region 1 officiating and Region 2 officiating. It's a lot more loose as we have figured out in our trip to Region 2. So you're able to do that a bit more in Region 2 versus Region 1, which is a more disciplined style of officiating, I guess you could say. They are not going to allow you to have that much physicality that they often allow you in Region 2.
Yeah, Eric, you pointed out something I really never noticed, but you're right. I mean, at that game over at Hopkinsville at times, I said on the air that game was getting pretty rough, particularly inside. And, here, granted, that was a pretty good reach in. It almost looked like he could have had a steal there. It ended up being a foul. So I got to agree with you, Eric. You pointed out a point there that there is a great amount of difference as far as from a refereeing standpoint there in not allowing as much contact, and because that wasn't a whole lot of contact, particularly when you compare that to what we saw against Hopkinsville.
I want to give a shout out to Joe Jackson listening in tonight as the free throw no good from Connor Miller on the Cellular Connection text hotline. Also want to give Jane Edwards a shout out tonight as well as a free throw no good. A rare 0 for 2 from Connor Miller. And it remains 6-4. Right now the Mustangs ice cold shooting tonight. But their defense, once again, as it has for 11 years, carrying the way. Just another fantastic, physically defensive ball club against this really good UHA ball team. As it's on the left-hand side, it's Grubbs. Now goes top of the key to Quarles. Swung right side to George. Now into the corner. Grubbs guarded by Fulcher, the freshman, as he comes now back out to George. George puts the dribble down, stops, goes now left side to Quentin Quarles. He'll take a spot up three, no good. Rebound comes down to Parrish. A minute 50 in this first quarter. The Mustangs trail 6-4. It'll be Caden Fulcher. The freshman for the Mustangs had it poked away for a moment, gets it back. Now starting to fight for it again. And Mustangs got to get it across. They do to Parrish. As Parrish hands it off to Miller. Miller behind the back dribble. Great defense out top by UHA. Swung right side to Jackson. Jackson, a baseline drive, now spins on the block, turns in the paint, gets his man in the air, puts it up, no good. Rebound Miller, puts it up, no good. Rebound fought for, comes down to UHA. On the return come the Blazers. Left-hand side, it's Grubbs. Spin move, layup up, no good. Rebound tipped up, no good. Back to UHA, though. It's going to be Northington, puts it up and in.
Eric, that was a good sequence for University Heights here. They got 3 rebounds there on offensive board to get that opportunity to finally score.
And so the Mustangs trail 8-4, 50 seconds in this first quarter, and that's a moving, nope, it's going to be a defensive foul on UHA. That's on George. And that will be 2 more free throws coming for McCracken County. The unfortunate thing for the Mustangs, right now they're not able to hit their free throws.
No, Eric, I just off the top of my head without looking at the scorecard there, I think we're below 50% so far in free throw shooting.
2 of 6 so far for the Mustangs, which is
33%.
And not normal.
No.
As the first one, and again another miss. 2 of 7. This is watching 11 years of Mustang basketball. You don't see that happen very much at the foul line.
No, you know, we talked a little bit with Coach Roberts last night at the show, and he said that was just something they're going to have to work on. It's got to be repetitions in practice.
Second free throw's good. And so Jackson makes 1 of 2. And that makes it now 8-5. The Blazers on top. 48 seconds left in this first quarter. It will be walking up Quentin Quarles, excuse me. As Quarles goes on the right-hand side to Grubbs. Crosses it over, hands it off right side. A 3 coming from Tylen George is good.
Yeah, Eric, he's one guy we don't need to leave open out there on the arc. Like I mentioned in the pregame, he's shooting 40% from out there at the arc.
11-5, Mustangs trail as Jay Martin on the left-hand side gets a double team. A lot of contact he takes. Hands it off down low to Miller. Layup's good, and he's fouled.
Man, that was a nice pass there from Caden Fulcher. He did a great job, Eric, out of the corner, finding Connor Miller breaking towards the basket, and Connor was able to execute that and get this 3-point opportunity for the Mustangs.
So that brought a little bit of a rise out of this crowd tonight. Free throw is good. So Connor Miller makes the 3-point play the old-fashioned way. And the Mustangs now trail 11-8. 7 seconds left in this first quarter. Quentin Quarles out top, gets a high screen, works the left side, gives it into the corner. Horrit, he's not able to get a shot off, and that will do it for the first quarter of play. Overall, not a terrible quarter for the Mustangs, but not their usual. After 1 quarter of play, Mustangs trail, it's 11-8. As we look at the Cellular Connection text hotline tonight, Miss Jane Ann Heath is watching the Mustangs tonight. It's good to hear from you. Your family here tonight, I see. And let us know you're listening. 270-557-8223. 270-557-8223. As Jimmy Garrett overall, not a terrible quarter, but overall, it's something to build on for the Mustangs, just down by 3.
Yeah, Eric, I think a few adjustments, whether Coach makes them right here at the break in the quarter or he waits to halftime, I think a couple things that's got to be adjusted. I mean, one thing on a defensive end, I didn't expect, it didn't look like that on the stat sheet, but one of the things University Heights is doing tonight, they're driving the ball into the lane and passing it out to the shooter out at the 3-point line. You know, I'm not sure how many total 3-pointers they've taken tonight, but they've taken more 3-pointers than they have 2-pointers so far in this game. So it seems like they want their offense to be out at the arc. So I think that'll be interesting to see how Coach Roberts adjusts his defense. I think the other thing for the Mustangs, the difference, Eric, really in not being in the lead has been at the free throw line.
That's right.
A total of 5 or 6 free throws missed so far. So even if the Mustangs executed half of those, right now it'll be 11-11 games. So the Mustangs are going to have to improve on the free throw line as the season goes along.
Mustangs, they start with possession as it's going to be Martin going on the left wing to Clope. Clope straight away to Jackson. Jackson right side to Martin. As Martin looking for the post, enters it to Clope mid-post. He turns, double teamed, the right hand hooks, too strong. Rebound comes down to UHA. Quarles, a full head of steam, stops, turns, and waits to set up the offense. As it goes now on the left-hand side, straight away now to Quarles. Quarles picks up the dribble. And now it's Grubbs. Stops. Free throw line jumper from Grubbs off, no good. Rebound comes down to Jackson. Martin with it for the Mustangs. Down by 3, 7-12 second quarter. Into the mid-block. Now back out to Fulcher. As Fulcher, he's going to take a long 3 and bury it.
Oh, man, that was nice. Caden Fulcher pulled that up there. Like you said, he was a good 5 or 6 feet behind the arc, and that was a nice shot by Fulcher there for the Mustangs. That
freshman Fulcher, he is going to be something. He's already playing quite well as just a freshman. As it is going to be on the left-hand side, Quarles. He's going to take a spot-up 3 himself and bury it.
He does it. They continue, Eric, like I've said there at the break between the quarters. They just want to play out there at the arc, and that was another three-pointer for the Blazers.
14-11. Mustangs trail by 3, 6.5 minutes, second quarter. As Jay Martin goes now to Clope. Clope puts the left-hand dribble down, out to Fulcher. Fulcher thought about another 3. Uses the dribble, top of the key. Hands it off to Miller. Miller on the perimeter, looking for the post. Takes a baseline, spins, gives it out to Clope, who lost it. It will go in the backcourt, and he actually almost got beat to it. It's going to be a backcourt violation.
Yeah, Eric, I think Connor really wanted that to go to Caden Fulcher there, and Jackson Clope was just happy to come across the top of the key there. He thought that pass was intended for him. He just couldn't handle it there and let it get back across the half-court line. So that's an unfortunate turnover for the Mustangs.
Bailey Bradley is watching this evening. Also, Buddy and Joyce Lewis as well. Good to hear from all of you on the Sailor Connection text hotline. Mustangs trail by 3, 14-11, 6 minutes, second quarter. As Grubbs all the way to the rim, no good. Rebound comes down to Clope. Clope hands it off to Miller. Miller penetrates left side. A wide open 3 from Jackson, no good. Rebound comes out to Quarles. He wants to race the other way. Quarles stopped at the perimeter. Now turns, uses his dribble, but gives it up as Clope picks it off. Up the floor to Miller. Miller to the rim. Layup's good.
Oh, nice. That's first fast break tonight for the Mustangs. Well executed between Clope and Miller.
Mustangs trail by 1, 14-13. 5:25 here in this second quarter. Quarles using a dribble right in front of the timeline. Waiting for a double screen. He receives it top of the key using a left-hand dribble. Gives it up. Now gets it back. Guarded by Miller. Into the corner to Grubbs. Baseline drive all the way to the rim. Takes contact. No good. Put back up. No good. Gets it again. Stripped and taken away by Fulcher. Fulcher leading a 3-on-3 break. Slows down. Waits for a little help. Fulcher picked away from behind, but a foul.
Yeah, Eric, they're calling that tight. I mean, I think that's the 3rd or 4th foul that we've saw so far where a University Heights player looked like they had a legitimate opportunity to try to steal the ball off the dribble, and when they reach in there, these referees are quick to call that. So, one of the things is, Eric, it'll be interesting to see how the game being called a little closer than they're used to in Region 2 affects a foul count overall tonight for the Blazers.
Parrish right side 3, no good. Rebound comes out to UHA. As it goes on the right-hand side, Quarles another spot-up 3. It's good.
Yeah, Eric, and one of the things we know about Quarles, he's shooting almost 40% from out there at the arc. I think he's 2 for 2 so far tonight.
Not bad to start. 17-13. Mustangs trail by 4. As it comes left side, Fulcher. Straight away Martin. He's going to take a spot-up 3 and bury it.
Oh, man, that's nice. One of the things is Jay Martin looks like he has that in his game. We've not seen it a whole lot so far. Nice three-pointer.
And on the other side, a nice job beating everyone back by Elijah Walton. And so Walton answers. It's 19-16. Mustangs trail by 3. Martin off of a high screen. He's going to take another long 3. That one's good. Jay Martin with back-to-back 3s. He's got 6. 19 up. 3:55 in this second quarter. Quarles Using the dribble, goes left-hand side now to George. He takes a screen, takes a three. That's no good. Mustangs can take their first lead. It will be Jay Martin into the front court. As Martin waits, gets a high screen, penetrates in, stops, turns, looks, gives it out. As Jackson, his mid-range jump shot, no good. Fought for at the rim, controlled by UHA. On the return come the Blazers. 19-19, 3:25 in this second quarter. It will be for UHA, Tylen George. As George operates towards the right wing in front of the Mustang bench, gives it out to Harrett, swung left side now to Quarles. Baseline, it goes to George, and he is fouled on the floor.
Oh, Eric, I didn't see that foul. Did you see that foul?
Maybe a hand check. It would be the best I could determine. Didn't have the best vantage point from my view. But just the first team foul this quarter for the Mustangs, thankfully. And so UHA will inbound it. As Horret will do the option. He's looking to alley-oop it, and he does as Northington finishes it off at the rim.
Oh, Eric, the Mustangs got caught off guard on that inbounds pass there.
As it is Miller, spins, taken away as a nice steal by Tylen George. As George swings it right side, Horret into the lane. He puts one up, no good. Rebound comes down to Connor Miller. Miller, met by a defender, goes to the rim, puts it up and in.
Oh, Connor took that baseline to baseline, Eric, and he wasn't going to be denied there. He went right up against two guys from the Blazers and kept going right to the rim.
And so the Mustangs tie it up at 21, 2:30 in this second quarter. Goes on the far right side. That is to Matthew Horret, and is that an offensive foul? I believe it was against Grubbs.
Yeah, Eric, that was a really hard foul there. Grubbs, he ran right into Dylan Jackson, nearly knocked him down, trying to get in the lane there, and they called that foul. That was an easy call.
So it will come back to McCracken County. The Mustangs tied at 21. Jay Martin goes on the wing to Clope. Nice cut to Jackson. Layup's good. Mustangs the lead.
Eric, that's the second time the Mustangs have executed that offensive play just to the top of the end there, and it's an easy basket for the Mustangs.
23-21. The Mustangs on top. 2 minutes left in the second as a foul away from the ball. Maybe going to be on Jackson. And just the team's second foul.
Eric, that's one thing you got to say. You know, we talked about not fouling a lot, and so far the Mustangs have done a good job keeping the fouls down.
As it will come in on the left-hand side to George. Now at the foul line, it goes to Horret. To Northington, to Matthew Horret. And Tylen George taking a contested three, no good. Rebound is going to be a foul against McCracken County down low. I think that's on Clope. That's his second.
Yeah, that's his second. You know, for a little while there in that first quarter after he picked up that first foul, Coach Roberts had him out for probably 6-7 minutes in that first quarter.
Did you get a tax refund? Time to get a new phone. Switch to
And so it will be UHA with it on the left-hand side, as that is Tylen George, and that's a whistle away from the ball. It's going to be Connor Miller committing the foul. And just like that, the Mustangs now with 14 fouls with 1:40 left in the second quarter.
Eric, you think I jinxed him there?
I think maybe.
I jinxed him a little bit. I feel bad about that as a broadcaster. I called that a little early.
And so UHA will inbound underneath their own basket. Mustangs by 2, 23-21. So it comes left side. That is to Northington, to the rim. Missed it. Rebound comes down to Miller. Connor Miller on the return. Nice crossover top of the key. Another crossover. Lost it for a moment, but he was fouled.
Who's that foul on there? Is that number 23?
It is. So it will be the Mustangs to inbound. Martin will do it for McCracken County. As Martin down on the block to Hawes. Pump fakes, and he is fouled hard. And Hawes will go shoot two. The 5'11" sophomore guard for the Mustangs to shoot two.
Yeah, Eric, I want to see Carter Hall settle in here. You know, I talked a little bit. He had a little bit of a shooting struggle over there the other night at Hoptown. I like to see him make these 2 free throws here and settle in. We know he's a good shooter, particularly outside the arc. I would assume he's just as good from the free throw line.
The first run from Hawes is good. One more. And the second one is good. So Hawes makes 2 of 2. And the Mustangs now lead 25-21. It will be for Tylen George. As George picks up his dribble, goes to the foul line. That is to Baker. Now enters it into the post to Northington. Back out now to Quentin Quarles. As Quarles gets a high screen, nice pick and roll, and that's going to be a traveling violation against UHA.
Eric, that was good defense inside by Grayson Parrish. He did a nice job holding his position in the paint and really caused him to try to take that extra step to get to the rim. So that was good defense by Grayson Parrish there in the paint.
Mustangs up 4 with a minute left. As a baseline drive by Miller's cut off, gives it out. Fulcher, his 3, that's gone.
Oh man, Eric Caden Fulcher's having a good evening. He's 2 for 2 outside the arc. That was another nice shot.
Mustangs lead 28-21. Biggest lead of the game for either side. Crossover dribble is George. Gives it off to Quarles. As Quarles gets a high screen, stops, free throw line jumper, got it.
Eric, he's got a nice shot. We've got to give him credit for a 5'8" guy. He's quick. He's got a quick trigger as well. That's a nice shot that Quarles has.
20 seconds left in the second quarter. Martin top of the key to Miller. Swung to Martin. As Martin straight away to Miller. Down to 10 seconds. Miller. Top of the key, he's open. His 3 is good.
Connor got the roll there, Eric. That was a shooter's touch on that three-pointer.
And another 23-point quarter for the Mustangs. Their second in as many nights. The Mustangs lead at the half, 31-23. First half scoring in the Estes Chiropractic. Second half adjustments when we return. 99.5 The Fan.
We all have dreams, and at Seaplant Federal Credit Union, we can help make yours a reality. Whether it's your dream vacation, your dream home, or your dream home away from home, Seaplant will walk you through the process from application to closing. Call or visit any of our 9 local Seaplant branches and learn how you can enjoy all our member benefits and finance your dream. So don't wait. Get dreaming with Seaplant today.
Member NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
Taking care of your family isn't always easy, so we make sure getting care when you need it is. With Baptist Health Urgent and Virtual Care, we bring you more options and greater convenience too. With video visits available 24/7 and online check-in through MyChart for in-person visits. To check in online or to set up a video visit, go to baptisthealth.com/careanywhere.
At CFSB, we're not just a bank, we're your neighbors and friends. But what truly sets us apart is our commitment to community. Join us in supporting local initiatives, from schools to charities, and celebrating what makes our home special, because together we help our community thrive. Experience banking with a heart, where your needs are heard and your community's growth is our priority. Visit us online at yourlifecarebank.com. CFSB, member FDIC.
Craig Culver on Culver's Salted Caramel Concrete Mixers.
Summer just isn't complete without this treat. We take our frozen custard and add salted caramel. Then pick your favorite mix-in. Cookie dough, brownie pieces, or how about Reese's Peanut Butter Cup? We spin it by hand. I love seeing that caramel swirl through the custard. There it is. Come on in for the Culver's Salted Caramel Concrete Mixer. Welcome to Delicious.
Stop in at Culver's on Highway 60 in Paducah.
Whether you win or lose the game, the best place to go is McDonald's. Have you tried the new Quarter Pounder with cheese, jalapeno, and bacon? What a way to wake up your taste buds. And to cool down, add a peanut butter crunch McFlurry to your order. But remember, these special items are only here for a limited time. Juggling school, work, ball practice, and more means no time to cook. Order on the McDonald's app and pick up your order curbside, or place your McDonald's order on DoorDash and have it delivered to your front door. McDonald's is here to make your life a little easier.
Rudy's Farm Center is your locally owned farm, industrial, and hardware store in Keppel. Now, the Rudy family is proud to be a part of Mustang Nation. Why don't you come out and enjoy a bag of the famous popcorn? It's just 10 minutes from the school campus out on Highway 60. While you're there, take a good look at the selection of Traeger wood pellet grills, a great addition for your tailgate party. At Rudy's Farm Center, down Highway 60 in Keppel.
If you've ever had a pinched nerve, you know how excruciating the pain can be. I'm Bill Hughes, and when my pinched nerve sent pain shooting down my arm or down my sciatic nerve into my leg, I turned to the Back Brothers at Estes Chiropractic. The Back Brothers alleviated my pain, treated my problem, and got me back on the running trail. When you need relief, you can rely on the Back Brothers. Estes Chiropractic.
Doctors Kelly and Kevin Estes, the Back Brothers. Estes Chiropractic Center in Paducah. EstesChiropracticCenter.com.
Greg Culver on Culver's Salted Caramel Concrete Mixers.
Summer just isn't complete without this treat. We take our frozen custard and add salted caramel. Then pick your favorite mix in. Cookie dough, brownie pieces, or how about Reese's Peanut Butter Cup? We spin it by hand. I love seeing that caramel swirl through the custard. There it is. Come on in for the Culver's Salted Caramel Concrete Mixer. Welcome to Delicious.
Stop in at Culver's on Highway 60 in Paducah.
Discover the difference that comes from a financial partner committed to building better tomorrows. I'm Darren Rudolph with Baird Private Wealth Management in Paducah. As a provider of trusted financial services in Paducah, Baird is committed to making the future brighter for you and for our community. That's why we support local organizations like United Way and West Kentucky Fellowship of Christian Athletes, because we care about Paducah. Discover the Baird difference. Visit paducah.bairdwealth.com.
Rudy's Farm Center is your locally owned farm, industrial, and hardware store in Keppel. Now, the Rudy family is proud to be a part of Mustang Nation. Why don't you come out and enjoy a bag of famous popcorn? It's just 10 minutes from the school campus out on Highway 60. While you're there, take a good look at the selection of Traeger wood pellet grills, a great addition for your tailgate party. At Rudy's Farm Center, down Highway 60 in Keppel.
Back here at Strawberry Hills Pharmacy Arena on the campus of McCracken County High School, as we are here at the half. The Mustangs on top, 31-23. Let's take a look at the first half scoring for both McCracken County and for UHA. And with that, once again, it is Jimmy Garrett.
So let's start out. We'll take a look at University Heights Blazer. The lead scorer tonight for them is Quentin Corliss, as Eric mentioned. He's already got 8 points. I want to note, Eric, Quentin picked up all 8 of those points in the second quarter. He was 2 for 2 from the three-point arc, and then he made a 2-pointer there from about 15 feet out. The other 3 scorers tonight so far for the Blazers, Tylen George, he made 2 3-pointers in the first quarter. He's got a total of 6 points. Bryson Northington, he's got a 3-pointer and 2 twos. He's got 7 total points overall. And then the only other guy on the scorecard tonight so far from the Blazers, Elijah Walton, he's got 2 points. He brought those in the second quarter as well. One thing, Eric, just to note there about University Heights that I didn't expect tonight in tonight's game. Overall, they've got 5 3-pointers. I want to talk a little bit about that in the halftime adjustments. Jumping down now and taking a look at the Mustangs tonight, Connor Miller, who we talked about, had a great second half against Hoptown, did the same in this game right now so far. He's the leading scorer. Matter of fact, he's the only scorer for both teams in the double digits. Connor's got a total of 13 points, made that 3-pointer there at the buzzer to get up over that 13 mark. He's doing a great job. The other guy that's having a good game, we want to talk about these 2 freshmen here tonight One of them is Jay Martin. Jay Martin tonight has 6 points. There were 2 series there in the second quarter where Jay brought the ball down, had some nice clean looks at it, made 2 3-pointers. He's 2 for 2 outside the arc. And the other freshman we want to talk about tonight is Caden Fulcher. He as well had 2 opportunities from outside the arc, made both of them. He's got 6 points as well. So one of the things is, Eric, I want to give a shout out tonight is these 2 freshmen have a total of 4 3-pointers for the Mustangs so far in this first half. The other guys that have scored so far for the Mustangs, Dylan Jackson, he's got a total of 3 points. He made a 2-pointer there in the second quarter. He was 1 for 2 from the free throw line. And then Jackson Cloak. Jackson's been a little quiet tonight, Eric. He's only got 1 point. That came from the free throw line overall. We know a majority of that first quarter. In the latter part of that second quarter, Jackson Cloak's been on the bench with a little bit of foul trouble, a little bit of foul concern, I should say. He's got 2 fouls so far in that first half. So overall, Eric, when you look at it, the Mustangs have got 6 guys so far on the scorecard for the Mustangs so far in this game. I think one of the things that I talked about was that 3-point shooting needed to improve tonight. You know, overall, when you look at it, I mentioned that the Blazers, they've got a total of 5 3-pointers tonight, and so do the Mustangs. So they're running dead even with the Blazers on it, and I think that's going to be an important part of the second half of this game.
And so it is a wonderful second quarter for McCracken County. 23 points in that second quarter as the Mustangs now looking to close it out in the second half as we look at the Estes Chiropractic second half adjustments. And the McCracken County defense on the arc. Talk about that once again.
Yeah, Eric, you know, coming into this game, just getting prepared for it, we talked there in pregame. I didn't really see University Heights as a team that wanted to set up and do a lot of 3-point shooting. You know, it just didn't jump off the stat sheet at you overall, even though we knew they had 2 guys that were up at the 40 percentile out there at that 3-point range. But I didn't expect that from them overall. But you got to say, Eric, that's kind of how they run their offense. I mean, they pulled the trigger a number of times from the 3-point arc, just coming down the court. They've driven the ball inside the paint and then shot, you know, passed it out to somebody on the arc for the 3-point opportunity. So, you know, that's a part of the game that I didn't expect. I don't know what Coach Roberts was thinking there, but, you know, one of the things is they quieted them a little bit there in the second quarter. So I'm assuming there at the break, Coach Roberts made some adjustments. He'll continue to make those adjustments at halftime. But I think we've got to have better defense out there on the perimeter.
And so the Mustangs continuing the 3-pointers and improving at the foul line.
Yeah, Eric, I think those are the 2 things. They're really shooting issues. The Mustangs took a lot of nice 3-point shots in this second quarter in particular. I think that paid off getting them in the lead after that first quarter. But one of the things is, Eric, we're going to continue to talk about now for the 4th game of the year. The Mustangs are struggling at the free throw line. And again tonight, I think, as you said, in that first quarter, they were below 50%, really barely at 50% here midway through the game. That's got to be an improvement later throughout the season.
As that's your Estes Chiropractic second half adjustments, we are set for the second half. The Mustangs on top by 31-23, as it will be Quentin Quarles. As he angles towards the left-hand side with a left dribble, goes on the other side now to Walton. As Walton puts the dribble down, stops, almost traveled with it, gives it back out to Quarles. Swung right side to Matthew Horrett, now into the corner as it goes to Tylen George. Straight away to Elijah Walton, swung left side to Quentin Quarles. And really just working it around the perimeter. Free throw line jump shots way off. Rebound comes down to Connor Miller. Miller hands it off to Martin. Wonderful second quarter for Jay Martin. Now to Miller. Out top to Jackson, now in the post to Cloak. He's double teamed, turns, right hand hook, no good. Rebound comes down to UHA. Blazers on the return. Quentin Quarles off of a screen, swung right side. Pump fake, penetrate. Is a jump shot up and good by Elijah Walton. Walton doubles his point total from 2 to 4. 31-25, the Mustangs by 6 as it is to Miller. As he puts the dribble down, hands it off. Parrish layup is good.
Oh, man, that was a nice pass by Connor. I thought for a second, Eric, he was going to take that 3-point shot, but he ended up finding Grayson wide open under the basket.
6.5 minutes, third quarter, 33-25. Mustangs by 8. It is the Blazers' ball. Tylen George, nice pass. Jump shot is no good. Rebound comes down to Cloak. Martin now with it, using the dribble into the front court. Martin gets the screen. Now into the lane, stops, gives it out. A right side three from Miller is gone.
Oh, Eric, just what we talked about at halftime. The Mustangs continue that three-point shooting, and Connor's come out here 1 for 1 in this third quarter.
36-25, the Mustangs by 11. Comes straight away. Quentin Quarles swung left side into the corner now to Tylen George. His three is gone.
Eric, he's the other guy for University Heights, shooting 40% from out there. He continues to have a good night from outside the arc.
Jay Martin goes on the wing to Clope. To Parrish. Swung left side to Jackson. Down low to Clope. Gets his man in the air. Puts it up and in, and he's fouled.
Eric, that's Jackson Clope's first basket from the court tonight. He hadn't scored but 1 point in that first half. I mentioned that came from the free throw line. So Jackson went up strong there, Eric. Not only did he get the basket, but he really drove into the defender there and ended up picking up that foul and has an opportunity here for a three-point play.
So Jackson for the and one. So Clope, his and one is no good. Rebound comes down to UHA. 38-28. The Mustangs by 10. 5.5 minutes, third quarter. As a bump, a shot, it's not going to be counted. It is on the floor, as it's called. Brought the chagrin of some of the UHA folks.
Yeah, Eric, that was a close call. That could have went either way. Fortunately for the Mustangs, it went their way.
And so UHA will inbound it as it goes top of the key to Baker. Hands it off to Quarles. Down low, nice pass. Walton and is double teamed, forces one up. No good, but he is fouled. So Elijah Walton will shoot two.
It's a foul on Grayson Parrish there. That was another close call. I thought Grayson had really good defense there, but can't say he didn't reach in a little bit to try to get the ball there and get a turnover. Ended up picking up the foul.
As the first free throw is no good. One more for Elijah Walton. His second free throw no good. Rebound comes down to Clope. Mustangs lead it 38-28. 5.5 minutes in this third quarter. Comes to Miller. He lost his shoe. He goes to Martin. As Miller just throws his shoe into the crowd, now goes to get it as it was kicked out of bounds. The ball was.
Eric, I think the other night at maybe it was against New Maverick, Connor lost his shoe
That's
there
right.
as well. It's a second time. You know, the way I say it is he wants to stop and make a quick cut. He stops, his shoe stays, and his foot moves. And so
That's right.
He's going to have to get his shoes a little bit tighter there if he wants to make that quick cut, because that's the second time this season I've seen him come out of his shoe.
And so he has tied his shoe once again. Hopefully it stays on this time. As it goes to Clope in the post, he turns against his defender to the rim, puts it in.
Man, Eric, that's one thing, like I said, we didn't see in the first half. Jackson's come alive here in this second half.
40-28, biggest lead of the game. Mustangs by 12 as it's on the baseline to Walton. Hands it off to Grubbs. Cut off by Martin. Great defense by the freshman. Gives it off now to Baker. Out it goes to Quarles. Quarles, nice pass is Baker. Jump shot good. And that brings a timeout from UHA, or from, I'm not sure, was it UHA or McCracken?
Yeah.
And so it is UHA a timeout. 40-30, the Mustangs by 10. 4:48 in this third quarter. And overall, the Mustangs playing really solid basketball from the second quarter on.
Yeah, you know one thing, Eric, I want to point out to the fans here tonight, when I looked up at the scoreboard there, the Mustangs had a 10-point lead. Just reflecting back, I think, Eric, that's the first double-digit leads the Mustangs have had really since the CCA game. But if you take these three games against New Maverick, then the other night at Hoptown and here tonight, you correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, I think this is the first double-digit lead the Mustangs have really had this season.
That's right. And it has been a season, besides the CCA game, it's been a season where the Mustangs have really been pushed by the athletic competition on the other side.
Yeah, I think tonight, a couple things, Eric. They're playing good defense, but they're really shooting the ball good out there at the three-point line.
So the Mustangs lead by 10, 40-30. It's Clope all the way to the rim. It puts it up, no good, but he's fouled.
You know, I think that's one of the adjustments, Eric, we've got to say that Coach Roberts must have made at halftime. You know, we didn't see Jackson Clope driving the ball or really getting the ball in the paint and taking it up in that first half. But so far here in those first 3 minutes in this third quarter, that's the fourth time Jackson Clope's either got the ball inside the lane or really just drove it to the rim.
As Clope's first free throw, it's short. He will have one more. And so the sophomore, his second free throw. It's no good. Rebound, fought for it. Cloak couldn't quite get it. It comes out to UHA. He's a nice pass towards the other side, but Walton actually lost it. It goes back to McCracken County.
Yeah, Eric, Grayson Parrish got a hand on it, and then Walton tried to pick it up there so he could drive it in for an easy, fast break, and ended up just slipping out of his hands. Really, that was a turnover created by Grayson Parrish getting a hand on the ball.
So Jackson will inbound it for the Mustangs, with the Mustangs up by 10, 40-30. It is going to be Jay Martin racing into the front court. Had it poked away, stolen from behind. UHA on the return. Grubbs all the way to the rim. Goes up strong. No good, but he's fouled, and that's going to be Clope's third, I believe.
Yeah, they're going to call that on Jackson. Yeah, it is, Eric. That's his third foul. You know, he lost a lot of minutes there in the first half when he picked up that second foul. So here it is, 3 fouls, and there's still better than a half a quarter to go here in the third quarter. It looks like he's going to bring Caden Fulcher in and let Jackson sit back on the bench.
The Mustangs go with a little bit of a smaller lineup as the free throw is no good from Grubbs. Both teams right now pretty cold from the foul line, combined 0 for 6 this quarter. That is not ideal. Second free throw, 0 for 7, as it is no good. Not a great start to this third quarter at the foul line for either team. 40-30, Mustangs by 10. As Miller uses a dribble, comes left side. His pass nearly picked off. It goes out of bounds off UHA.
Yeah, that was kind of a tough pass there. Connor passed that all the way across the lane over to this far corner, trying to get it to Dylan Jackson. There was at least 2 defenders between Connor Miller and Dylan Jackson. I was lucky that pass didn't get stolen.
And so the Mustangs will inbound it. They do. To Fulcher, who gets it to Miller. Miller behind the back dribble to the rim, puts it up no good, but he's fouled.
Yeah, Eric, Connor continues. You know, I can't talk about it enough really since the second half of that Hopkinsville game, and we've seen it all evening so far tonight. Is Connor's he's muscling his way into the paint. It doesn't matter if he's got 1, 2, or 3 defenders on him. He's just determined to get the ball up and ends up picking up a lot of fouls.
First free throw from Connor, no good. The Mustangs are 6 of 15 at the foul line tonight.
And Eric, that's 0 for 8 for both teams if I'm counting correctly.
That's right. His second free throw, no good. 6 of 16 are the Mustangs at the foul line tonight, yet have a lead by 10. Just think if the Mustangs are able to convert at the foul line.
I mean, even if they picked up half of those, you know, you'd be looking at, 5 more points? You'd have a 15-point lead right now.
Mercy. 4 minutes in the third. Quarles off a screen. His contested 3 is good.
Man, Eric, we can't say enough about Quarles. I mean, he's got a quick trigger, and that's 3 for 3 outside the arc in the last 2 quarters.
Jay Martin in front of half court, goes on the wing to Miller. To Parrish, swung left side to Jackson. Jackson down low, Miller at the rim, no good. Parrish follow is good.
Oh, nice follow-up by Grayson Parrish. I mean, he's got to be the big man on the court right now for the Mustangs with Jackson Glope out. That was a good play by Parrish.
Makes it 42-33 as a crossover dribble all the way to the rim, layups up and in by Walton. And that brings a timeout for UHA. Actually, what does it bring?
Eric, I almost thought that was going to be a technical on University Heights. After the ball went through the basket.
Delay of game warning against University Heights.
I was going to say, he knocked the ball clear into the stands. I wasn't for sure what they were going to call there.
And so that will make it McCracken County with the possession as Jay Martin into the front court. And he's going to be fouled. That's team foul number 4.
Yeah, Eric, you know, one of the things you mentioned at the first quarter, you educated me to the way the referees are calling the games different here in Region 1. And you got to admit, University Heights is struggling with that all night long.
And so it comes into Miller, to Jackson, straight away to Martin. 42-35, Mustangs up by 7. Left side to Fulcher. Caden puts down the dribble, picks it up, gives it out to Miller. As Miller, a spin in the lane to the rim, left hand layup, score. Connor finishes at the rim. It's 44-35, Mustangs by 9. As it comes now to Elijah Walton, and he is going to be fouled, I believe, by Parrish. That'll be team foul number 4. So both teams shooting the bonus. Any more fouls in this third quarter?
Eric, I can't see the scoreboard. Is that the third foul on Grayson Parrish?
Just two.
Just two, okay.
And so it will be UHA to inbound it. They do to Walton as Walton goes to Quarles. 2:45 in the third. Quarles contested three short. Rebound comes down to Martin. As Martin uses a dribble, penetrates into the paint, stops, top of the key. Right side to Fulcher. Fulcher using a left-hand dribble, crosses it over. Now angles back to Martin. Martin, right-hand dribble, spins. Using the left now, goes to Miller. As Miller goes left side towards the baseline, crosses it over, brings it back towards the perimeter. Out to Martin. 2:10 third quarter. Mustangs up by 9. Jackson between a double team is going to be fouled, and that will send Jackson to the foul line to shoot two.
Yeah, Eric, they just continue to. That was another great play by Dylan Jackson, trying to split two defenders there and drive the ball to the rim. But another foul on the University Heights. I mean, I think overall, Eric, that's just going to be a long night for them throughout the remainder of this third quarter and fourth quarter, that they're just not used to that.
And so the free throw for Dylan Jackson is no good.
Eric's at 10 that we've missed this quarter almost.
That is 6 of 17. The free throw is good.
Is that the first one we made this quarter?
It is.
First free throw this quarter, and there's 2 minutes and 5 seconds left.
And so it is going to be McCracken County a 10-point lead, 45-35. As McCracken is now back defensively. Matthew Horrid into the lane, puts it up and in. And so, minute 45 left in the third. Mustang lead down to 8. Martin with the basketball in the backcourt. Crossover dribble into the front court as Martin angles right side to Miller. As Miller turns into the lane. He goes all the way to the rim off the high glass, no good. Rebound is going to be a foul on Miller, and that will send Quentin Quarles to the foul line for the double bonus.
Yeah, Eric, I think that was a little frustration foul by Connor Miller there. He missed that jumper. He was about 6-8 feet out from the rim, and he didn't make any contact with the rim whatsoever. I think Connor was a little frustrated with himself and just went over there and jumped over the back of the University Heights over Quarles. So you put Quarles on the line. I know he's a good free throw shooter.
And so Quarles, he connects on the free throw. One more for Quarles, and it's good. Martin will bring it the other way for McCracken County as Martin angles right side to Fulcher. He's going to take a long three. That's no good. Rebound's going to be a push in the back on Parrish, and that will send UHA back to the foul line the other way.
And Eric, that is Parrish's third foul. So now you got both of the big guys from the Mustangs, both Cloak and Parrish. They have 3 apiece.
And so it will be at the foul line, Elijah Walton to shoot 2.
(1560 WPAD).
As the first run from Walton is no good. Another missed free throw.
Eric Diaz is coming in the game, so you got Parrish and Cloak both on the bench, and first time tonight we've seen Diaz come in to be the big man on the court for the Mustangs here late in the third quarter.
As the second free throw is good. And so it will be UHA with McCracken with possession. UHA full court pressure. As Miller gets it into Martin. Martin will angle it into the front court. As Martin in towards the low block. He turns, puts one up short, rebounds, fought for it, comes out to UHA. Blazers on the return. as it is going to be into the corner. Matthew Hoare at 3. No good. Rebound comes back to UHA, though, as Cherry down low lost it. It goes back to McCracken County with 54 seconds.
Eric, that was a fortunate break there for the Mustangs. That looked like he was going to have an easy shot to put that back up in the rim over Diaz, and he ended up just slipping out of his hands and going out of bounds on the baseline.
So Martin goes right side to Fulcher. As Martin goes on the wing to Diaz. Diaz, nice pass towards Miller. Had it stripped, though, taken away by UHA. 30 seconds in the third. Grubbs hands it off to Matthew Hoare. Back to Grubbs. A contested 3. No good. Rebound is tipped around. It's off UHA to McCracken County.
Oh, Eric, that was another good break there. Connor Miller looked like he was going to come down with that rebound. Ended up slipping out of his hand. Then the UH player there tried to save it and ended up knocking out of bounds. So that would have been an opportunity for UH to cut into this 5-point lead.
Is Fulcher into the front court. And he tried to get it to Halls, but thankfully Martin able to save it before it went out of bounds. As Martin, a baseline drive, gives it back out to Miller. Down to 10 seconds. Miller crosses it over all the way towards the rim. Turns, looks, and he traveled with it. It will go to UHA with 5.5 left.
Eric, this has been a tough last 2 minutes for the Mustangs. Overall, they've not executed well on the offensive end of the court, and then ended up turning the ball over a couple times and just really been able to let University Heights get back up the court quickly and get set up in their offense. So, you know, this was a 10-point lead just less than 2 minutes ago.
As it is going to be right side. A 3 coming from Tylen George is good, and that makes it a one-possession game entering the fourth quarter. After 3 quarters of play, it's a close ball game. Mustangs on top, 45-43.
Flooring is incredibly important when it comes to sports. It's also incredibly important when it comes to your home or business. You gotta see Flooring America for a full line of residential and commercial carpet, vinyl, laminate, area rugs, and custom tile. Their professional installers are fully insured. They have the area's largest selection of quality floor coverings for integrity, quality, and professional service. See Greg Dilworth at Flooring America, 5150 Heartland Drive, flooringamericapaducah.com.
At CFSB, we're not just a bank, we're your neighbors and friends. But what truly sets us apart is our commitment to community. Join us in supporting local initiatives, from schools to charities, and celebrating what makes our home special, because together we help our community thrive. Experience banking with a heart, where your needs are heard and your community's growth is our priority. Visit us online at yourlifecarebank.com. CFSB, member FDIC.
Mustangs, 7 of 18 from the foul line overall in this ball game, and that's keeping it close. Jimmy Garrett, UHA was down 14. They're now down 2.
Yeah, Eric, you know, I thought this was going to be an easy double-digit win midway through the third quarter. Now, all of a sudden, you're in a tight game. It could go either way here in the next 8 minutes.
And so Jay Martin will start with the possession for the Mustangs as we start this final stanza. Mustangs up by 2, 45-43. As Martin enters it into the post to Clope, he's double-teamed, turns, gives it out towards Fulcher. Fulcher, just in front of the center circle, gets a high screen, gives it in the corner to Parrish. As Parrish, hop step, he gives it a shot, no good. Rebound back to UHA. Grubbs all the way to the rim, floats one up, and no good. Rebound comes down to Clope. Is Clope able to clear it to Martin? Martin will bring it the other way. He's met by a double team in the backcourt. Gets around it, up to Jackson. There's Jackson. He spins in the lane, pump fakes, and he's stripped. Gets it back, puts it up. It's no good. Clope gets it, puts it up. No good, but he's fouled.
Oh, Eric, that was a tough series for the Mustangs. I mean, Jackson did a good job. Thought he was going to get that shot up. Ended up getting it stripped on the way up. Got that back. Ended up putting it up, and then Jackson had an opportunity to put it in there. That was a hard foul by the UH player there on Jackson. Clope, he's got to sink these 2 free throws.
As the free throw is no good. 7 of 19 for the Mustangs.
Oh, Eric, I hate to see where this gets late in the game.
As his second free throw no good, he hustles for it though, missed. Oh, he puts a layup up and in.
I think Eric Jackson planned that. As soon as he let that go, it seemed like he took off for the rebound and made that easy layup. So
a 4-point play.
Yeah, that's one way to convert a free throw.
47-43. Matthew Horick goes to the rim, puts it up no good. Cloak clears it up the floor to Jackson. Gets his man in the air, layup's good.
Oh, that's only the second fast break tonight for the Mustangs, but well executed.
It makes it a 49-43 lead now for the Mustangs, and then a foul down low is going to be on Jackson, and he's got to watch it. He just had an aggressive disagreement with the official, and that will get you teed up quickly.
He did, Eric. He didn't like that call, but I'll be honest with you, they're calling those both ways, and that wasn't a bad call. Dylan got pretty physical there, and they've been calling that on UH all night long. That was a fair call with Dylan Jackson. He just got a little bit upset about it.
Mustangs by 6, 49-43. And they outlet it into the backcourt as Quarles and Miller try to go out with it. Quarles came away with it. Then he passes it away to Parrish. Parrish almost trying to get it up to Miller, but probably wisely waited for Fulcher. And the Mustangs have it up by 6, 49-43, 6:20 left in this game. And a timeout for Coach Roberts. And it will be, I think, a full timeout.
Eric, I think that's an important timeout. I mean, you look up at the scoreboard, the Mustangs are up by 6. They have the ball. I mean, if they can convert this into 2 points or 3 right now, they can get back close to that double-digit lead. They head midway through the third quarter. So I've got to give credit to Coach Roberts. I think he wanted his guys to get settled down, get set up in their offense here on this half-court opportunity, because if they can extend this out to 8 points with 6 minutes to go, that's a good position to be in a much better position than the Mustangs started this fourth quarter.
And so the Mustangs up by 6, 49-43. And all of that while shooting 7 of 20 at the foul line right now for McCracken County. Against a team that took Murray, a talented first region opponent, and beat them by nearly 20. And so this UHA team is quite talented.
Yeah, you know, another thing is, Eric, I want to comment on it, that we've got to notice the difference of what went on in the tail end of that third quarter to now what we're seeing in the fourth quarter. You know, at the tail end of that third quarter when UH was really able to close the score, both the big men, both Cloak and Grayson Parrish were on the bench with 3 fouls apiece. And overall, you got to give University Heights credit. They took advantage of that. It's really how they closed that lead with the 2 big guys off the floor. Now that both Jackson and Grayson are back on the floor, the Mustangs have been able to extend this lead back out to 6 points.
49-43, Mustangs on top as it goes to Cloak. Backdoor cut to Miller, layup is gone. Nice sequence out of the timeout for the Mustangs. A well-executed half-court set. And a near steal by Miller. He's on the floor. It's going to be a jump ball that will keep it with UHA.
That was a hustle play by Connor Miller. I mean, he really didn't have an opportunity, Eric. I didn't think he was going to get a hand on the ball. He ended up beating Quarles to the ball and tying it up there. Unfortunately, it doesn't go the Mustangs' way, but that was a real hustle play by Connor Miller.
6 minutes in the fourth. Mustangs on top, 51-43. There's a lot of moisture on the floor with Connor Miller going to the pavement. And they are wiping that up. And so the wipe-up operation is complete. And the Mustangs settle back in defensively. UHA up by 8, or I'm sorry, McCracken up by 8 with 6 minutes left, 51-43. So it comes on the near side to Tylen George, now to Grubbs, baseline. As he comes now on the block. That is towards Baker. He turns, jump shot no good. Rebound comes down to Miller. Miller walks it across half court. Miller works top of the key, gives it off to Parrish. Parrish to Cloak. Now to Martin. Gets a screen. Martin using a right-hand dribble into the lane. Floats one up and got it. Jay Martin, a phenomenal move. He's got 8.
Eric, this is the best game Jay Martin's had so far this season.
And he's going to only improve. He's just a freshman for the Mustangs. As it is George, baseline drive, blocked from behind by Martin. It comes out to Connor Miller. Up the floor it goes to Clope. Left-hand layup is good. What a sequence from Martin to Miller to Clope. And Mustang Nation comes alive. They're up by 12.
Eric, and you got to say all 6 of those points came off of that timeout. You know, Coach Roberts took that timeout when he was up 6 points. They did a great job there coming out of that timeout with a really planned play there that Connor Miller went back door there, made an easy layup, and then Jay Martin popped in there in the lane for a nice 3 or 4 foot jumper there that he made. And then you got a quick fast break. So overall, you got to say when Coach Roberts called that timeout last time when the Mustangs were down on the offensive end, it was timely. I mean, they've turned a 6-point lead into the 12-point lead in just a little under a minute since that timeout.
Jay Martin, he is one of many in this underclassmen group the Mustangs are excited about, and it's very easy to see why. Just a dynamic player for the Mustangs. He's had a big night tonight.
Yeah, Eric, you know, one of the things when you think about this game, I mean, here we are with 5 minutes and 10 seconds left in the fourth quarter. The Mustangs, a big majority of tonight, have had 2 freshmen on the court. I mean, if you look at it, Jay Martin started, Caden Fulcher come in there several times, including this last several sequences after that timeout. You've had Caden Fulcher and Jay Martin on the court together. So, you know, you look at it, Eric, right now, 2/5 of the starting lineup that's been playing in the second half are freshmen.
And so Mustangs by a dozen, 55-43. It will be UHA. The possession, as it is on the right-hand side. Grubbs a long 3. It's no good off the top of the backboard. It will go back to McCracken County.
Eric, this right here is an opportunity for the Mustangs. I think you said earlier the Mustangs were up 14 points there in the third quarter, so it's an opportunity to match the largest lead so far this game.
And so Miller into the front court. And it poked away from behind. Matthew Horant up the floor to Grubbs. His layup is good.
Missed that opportunity to get that largest lead.
And so that makes it 55-45. Ends a 10-0 run to start the quarter for the Mustangs. Into the front court. It's Fulcher. Kicks it off right side. Miller, spot up 3. No good. Rebound comes down. It's UHA. 2-on-1. It is going to be Grubbs to Matthew Horant. Blocked at the rim by Clope.
Oh, Eric, that was a great block shot. Just as that went up on the board, Jackson was able to get up there and knock it back.
Martin with it for McCracken County. As Martin hands it off to Clope, then back to Martin. And that's going to be, they call a foul? They called a foul on Grubbs. Didn't see much there, but maybe got his leg.
Eric, that's his 4th foul.
Wow. So the Mustangs will inbound sideline out of bounds, leading 55-45. As it comes in to Martin. So Jay Martin will walk it into the front court. Goes on the wing to Miller. As Miller straight away to Clope. Hands it off to Martin. Martin going to take a left side 3 and bury it.
Eric, he's 3 for 3 tonight from outside the arc.
Jay Martin with 11. It's 58-45. Matthew Horant to the rim. Puts it up and in.
Eric, that's one thing that frustrates Coach Roberts when they get a quick basket off one of ours.
Indeed. As Martin gets into the lane, to the rim. Up and in at the rim. Jay having a wonderful game. Then again, the Blazers beat the Mustang back. It's Quentin Quarles at the rim to finish. And again, Coach Roberts is furious.
He is, Eric, and that's a pace of game that we expected to see early on, but we haven't seen it to here in the fourth quarter.
Miller right side 3, no good. Parrish the board. Gets it down low to Clope for the layup. Mustangs very efficient right now. 62-49. Right side 3 up. It rims in, and it's a foul on Clope. And it's going to count, and the UHA Blazers are going to get the ball. That's a big-time foul that goes against McCracken County.
Yeah, Eric, you know, I didn't see that. It looked like what he did, he gave him a little bit of an elbow there. I didn't see that. From my vantage point, I couldn't see Jackson do that. He was away from the shooter there for UH, and so I didn't see that play. But unfortunately, you know, one of the things is, Eric, I noted there earlier, when the UH was able to get back in this game, Jackson and Grayson were both on the bench. Now you got Jackson back out of the game. this is an opportunity for UH to cut into this 10-point lead here in the last 3 minutes and 3 seconds.
And so a big-time foul on the Mustangs as Klopp commits the foul. That is his 4th, but he did it after a three-pointer, and so now they can make it a big-time possession. 62-52, Mustangs by 10. A right side three coming from George. It's a 6-point swing because of that foul. 62-55, that's something to note. 3 minutes left. Martin goes left side. Nice pass down low to Caden Fulcher. Puts it up, no good, but he's fouled.
Eric, I've got to ask you a question. I watch a lot of basketball, particularly college basketball, and then I enjoy all the high school basketball that you and I do. I don't know that I've seen 6 points scored in one opportunity.
Seen it before, but not much. It is very rare. It's usually on that same sequence where a three happens while the other team commits a foul away from the ball. Free throw by Fulcher, again, no good. The Mustangs are building a house from the free throw line and then get the team back. The team gets the ball back, you make another three. 6 points.
Yep, it's the first one I've got to say I've ever witnessed.
That's right. As Fulcher makes the second free throw, Mustangs not shooting the ball well at the foul line, roughly about 9 of 23. As the Mustangs do have an 8-point lead. It is going to be Tylen George all the way to the rim, hands it off, a layup up and in by Grubbs. 63-57. Mustangs on top by 6, 2:20 left. As Miller, it's now to Fulcher into the front court. Fulcher hands it off to Parrish, but that is not going to be a counted layup. It's going to be a blocking foul on UHA.
That was a nice play, though, by Caden Fulcher. Eric, you know, we've been talking about these freshmen. He did a nice job driving it in, but he dished that ball off to Grayson Parrish, and if there wasn't a defensive foul there, that would have been a nice, easy basket for Parrish and allowed the Mustangs to extend this game back out to double digits.
Martin will inbound it as it comes to Klopp on the left side. Straight away now to Jackson. Swung right side. As it is going to be to Klopp. Klopp right side to Martin. His spot up, three, rimmed out. Rebound comes down to UHA. As it is going to be Tylen George, and that's a blocking foul on McCracken County. That will send, nope, it's just a 13th foul, excuse me.
Eric, I got to make one correction. That wasn't a blocking, that was a tackling foul.
That's right.
Actually, that looked like a little bit of a football play. Dylan Jackson actually tackled him on his way to the rim.
That's right. And so UHA will inbound it. And it goes to George. All the way to the rim. His shot no good. Comes down to Klopp, though, on the board. Klopp gives it to Miller. So Miller has it for the Mustangs. A minute 48 left in the game. 63-57. It comes on the right side to Jackson, who is going to be fouled, and that will send Jackson to the foul line to shoot two.
Eric, is that the fourth foul? That's fourth foul on Quarles.
And so something to note, it is going to send the Mustangs to the line for the double bonus.
Yeah, and I think one of the things is, Eric, if UH is going to have any opportunity here in this last minute and 42 seconds, they've got to keep Quarles on the floor. So, you know, right now, if he pick up his fifth with a minute 42 left, it'd be a big break for the Mustangs.
As the free throw is good.
Eric, you've not said that much tonight.
That's right. It has been a rough night from the foul line, and a timeout for UHA. 30-second timeout. 64-57, the Mustangs on top, and now the Mustangs, after this hopeful made free throw, looking to close this out.
Yeah, Eric, we really need this free throw. I mean, we get back up by 8 points. You're up by 3 scores going in the last minute and 42 seconds. You know, I think two things UH is going to continue to try here in this latter part of this fourth quarter. One is when they do come down on the offensive end of the board, they're just trying to drive it to the rim and get a quick basket or dish it out and get a quick three-pointer. So they're going to be quick on the offensive end of the board. The other thing they're going to do is they're just going to continue to put that full-court press on if indeed they score. So the Mustangs are going to have to be ready for both. I think one of the things is they're a little bit a few minutes ago in this fourth quarter, that sequence where the Mustangs were scoring and UH was able to get the ball down so quickly that we're getting behind the defense. And you and I both talked about how much that frustrates Coach Dustin Roberts. They don't need to let that happen here in this last part of the game.
Dylan Jackson's second free throw is good. He makes 2 of 2. Mustangs now lead 65-57. 95 seconds left in regulation. Tylen George hands it off on the far right side of the floor to Baker. Now out to Quarles to Grubbs. As Grubbs shakes and bakes into the lane, puts it up and in, and he's fouled.
It's another foul on Dylan Jackson, Eric. I'm not sure how many that's on Dylan. I can't see the scoreboard from here, but that's 2 he's picked up here just in the last minute.
And so Dylan Jackson has fouled out. And so Quarles. He makes it, and it's a 3-point play.
So, Eric, they've cut this lead back down to 5 points. I mean, that's what they did at the end of the third quarter. Here at the end of the fourth quarter, they're able again to get the Mustangs, take that double-digit lead and cut it in half in just a matter of about 2 minutes. And, you know, one of the things is, Eric, I've mentioned on air throughout this game, it seems each time Jackson Clope is out of the game, it just allows UH to cut into that lead. And so, you know, I know right here when in this last play, Jackson Clope was black out on the court knowing that he's got 4 fouls. But Jackson's got to be able to stay on the court this last minute and 26 seconds.
As it is of the utmost for the Mustangs. And for UHA, finding some defensive stops, you're likely going to be forcing the Mustangs to try to beat you at the foul line.
Yeah, Eric, and that we don't want to hear. We talked about that in the pregame show. You know, that was one of my keys to success, is the Mustangs having a successful night at the free throw, and it's been just the opposite. And, you know, if this would come down to a free throw shooting game here at the tail end of it, Eric, I think it'd be difficult for the Mustangs to walk out here with a win. So it was good to see Dylan Jackson. I think he made both of those free throws. He had that last opportunity. You know, right now the Mustangs have got to convert, because you're right. They're going to foul them, send them to the free throw line. And if we continue to shoot as poorly as we have all season long, including this first 3.5 quarters, this is going to be a long last 90 seconds for the Mustangs.
65-60 as it is McCracken County by 5. A minute 20 left. As Connor Miller in the backcourt, guarded closely by Grubbs, gets it into the front court, does Miller. Almost a reach in and a takeaway. In fact, almost was. Clope able to get it back, gives it off to Jay Martin. As Jay waiting for the pressure, and he was fouled. It's a takeaway by Grubbs, layups up and in.
Well, Eric, they cut that to 3 points coming out of that timeout, so you've got a minute left, 60 seconds left to go in this game.
65-62, Mustangs by 3. As it comes into Miller into the front court. 50 seconds left. As Miller, and a timeout by Coach Roberts. And so the Mustangs, Jay Martin took a lot of contact, I will say, on that last possession that ended up in a steal. Unfortunately, called it going away. Now the Mustangs have it up 3 with 47 seconds left.
Yeah, Eric, I think coming out of this timeout right here, I mean, Coach Roberts has got to call a good offensive play. I think one of the things is UH is not going to allow the Mustangs just to try to set up in their offense and burn a lot of time off here. I mean, they're going to be aggressive coming out of this timeout, trying to steal the ball like they were able to do there against Jay Martin. So I think one of 2 things the Mustangs have got to do. They either got to come out of this timeout with a good set play like we've seen them do several times tonight, execute that well and get another basket and extend this lead beyond 1 score, or they're going to end up getting fouled and be back at the free throw line. So I think either way, Eric, the Mustangs are going to have to do a good job handling the ball coming out of this timeout.
As McCracken County holding on to a 3-point lead, 65-62 with 47 seconds left. And overall, this would be a very nice win for the Mustangs for multiple reasons, but especially for what the Mustangs would do if they win from their production at the foul line tonight.
Yeah, Eric, I mean, like we talked with Coach Roberts about it at the coach's show last night, and, you know, he said, hey, we just got to keep practicing it. We've got to get our repetitions down. But when you look at a high school basketball team that's shooting below 50% after tonight, and Eric, that's just a really poor stat overall. It's got to be something that's got to improve as the season goes along.
As it comes left side to Fulcher. And Fulcher is going to be fouled with 43 seconds left. He'll go shoot 2.
So, Eric, you know, here's a situation. You know, we talked there during the break at halftime and between the 2 quarters that you know, we've got a lot of talented freshmen. I mean, here's a good opportunity. You got Jay Martin, who's had a good night. You got Caden Fulcher now standing at the foul line on 2 critical free throws.
As the first one is good. Oh, I'm sorry, no good. I thought I saw it. Looked up last second, saw the net move. It was no good, excuse me. Just writing down the second free throw is good. He makes 1 of 2. And so 66-62 down low. Nice layup, but missed. However, a late foul call against McCracken County. And so that is going to be on Caden Fulcher. It will send to the foul line Kyler Baker to shoot 2 to try to make it a 2-point game. His first free throw is good. 1 more for Baker.
Eric, he's their other 75 percentile free throw shooter, so he's a good free throw shooter.
And he missed the second. 3-point lead for the Mustangs, 66-63. Martin on the right side, he's fouled, and he will go to the foul line for McCracken County to shoot 2. So big free throws here for the freshman, who's had a big-time game tonight for McCracken County. As Martin has 13. His free throw is good. He's got 14. Second one for Jay Martin. It's no good. Rebound to Parrish, though. Another chance for the Mustangs, as Miller will be fouled with 26 seconds left, and Connor Miller will go shoot 2 for McCracken County.
Eric, that was a great and important rebound there by Grayson Parrish. I mean, after that missed free throw, the Mustangs were only going to be up, you know, right now 4 points, and Grayson Parrish did a great job coming down with that rebound.
As Miller's free throw, no good. Mustangs woeful tonight from the free throw line, well below 50%. As all 5 Mustangs in the starting lineup have missed multiple free throws tonight. The second free throw, it's no good. Rebound to UHA. They're coming the other way. Grubbs into the lane, puts it up and in. It's a 2-point game. And a timeout, UHA.
Eric, I don't know that we could talk enough tonight about the free throw shooting.
And so as I will count that, 1,
Yeah,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 free throws shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 of 29 at the foul line tonight for the Mustangs.
Oh, Eric, that's, you know, you hate to say anything negative, but that's a pitiful statistic. I think that's the only way I can summarize that, not to be negative in any way. But, I mean, when you're 12 for 29, I mean, to be honest with you, we could dip way down into the elementary schools to see a team that be that poor any night at free throw shooting. So it's a situation, like I said, we've been talking about it. We've talked about it at the coaches show the other night. We talked about it over at Hopkinsville because it was a struggle. And so you talk about it here again tonight. Could be critical coming down to the end of this game with only a 2-point lead. And, Eric, I punched it in my calculator. That's shooting 41% from the free throw line in tonight's game.
That is not great. And so it will be McCracken County going full length of the floor. 18 seconds left, up by 2, 67-65. It is going to be Fulcher in the backcourt, and he's fouled.
Eric, I like the situation. You know, Jay Martin, Caden Fulcher, and Connor Miller are all really good shooters. I mean, these are 3 guys that shoot the ball from the floor all night long for the Mustangs. You'd think here in this situation they could convert a couple free throws, but you know, Caden Fulcher's got a little pressure on him as a freshman here on a 2-point game, 16.3 seconds left. He needs to convert one of these for sure to stay up by 3, but be nice if he can convert them both and be up by 2 scores here when UH brings the ball down the floor.
So Fulcher to shoot 2. The free throw is good. That makes it 13 of 30 for the Mustangs from the foul line tonight. And what a win it would be shooting like that from the foul line. Fulcher. Second free throw is good. 14 of 31. 69-65. Matthew Horrid, his 3 rims out. Connor Miller gets the board, and he's going to be fouled with 9.4 seconds left. Big time board for Miller. He'll go shoot 2. And you might be able to breathe a little bit easier now with 9 seconds left.
Yeah, you're up. And so that's a good thing with 9 seconds. I think the situation is, oh, excuse me, Eric, I didn't note that. His 4 points were up. So, you know, right now it'd be nice to see Connor get both of these just as Caden Fulcher did. So you get up by 2 3-pointers here going into this last 9 seconds.
So Miller to shoot 2. His first free throw is good.
Eric, I got to say something. We've made 3 foul shots in a row.
That's right.
If Connor can make this, that's 4 for 4 in the last 15, 20 seconds.
That's how we'll finish the game. We'll take that. As Miller, his second free throw is good.
Oh, we're on a hot streak.
That's right. And so a 3 straight away from Grubbs, no good. Tipped back up and in is good. And that's going to do it tonight. The Mustangs win it 71-67. The Mustangs move to 3-1 on the year. UHA drops to 3-1 on the year. And overall, a nice win tonight for McCracken County.
Yeah, Eric, you got to say it was. I mean, 2 times. I mean, one of the things you talk about battling, and Mustangs battled hard against Hopkinsville in that second half to win that game. One of the things I've got to credit the Mustangs overall as a team tonight, 2 times, once in the third quarter and then once in the fourth quarter, the Mustangs were able to get up by double digits. One time by 14 points there in the third quarter, one time by 12 points here in the fourth quarter. And in both situations, they allowed UH to come back. I think a lot of that, Eric, had to do with the fact that Jackson Clope and Grayson Parrish were on the bench. It allowed them to battle back in, get down tight within a basket, both in the third quarter. There at the end of the third quarter, I think we were only up 2. Got here late in the fourth quarter. Again, we were only up by a basket. So overall, I think one of the things is, Eric, that is a good maturity thing for this Mustang team is, you know, when you get in that situation, you know the momentum's going to go back and forth throughout a basketball game, that each time UH was able to close that lead, the Mustangs kept their, you know, just held their poise there and just battled back and grew that lead back, you know, in the fourth quarter to double digits, again coming out of the third quarter, and then here able to finish up by 4 at the end of the game. So, you know, I think one of the things that you've got to see in the team overall, they've had 2 tough opponents in Hopkinsville and now the University Heights, and in both games they were battles, and the guys really held their poise,